morning on Wednesday, the 4th of December 2024. It's 8 a.m. in the Gambia and therefore coffee time with Peter Gomez. The program is brought to you in association with partners led by Bloombank Africa, the Gambia Experience, the USP-EEC and GAMFood Trading, TAF Africa Global, Wave Global Properties, and Easy Financial Services.
Did you know service plots are now available at Baki? Welcome to Baki, Taft City's fourth residential estate.
Yes, service plots available at Baki with 3 years interest-free payment plan with a minimum deposit of only $94,000, and it will come with fence plot, water reticulation, electricity, solar street lights, and bituminized internal roads. Are you ready to build your dream home for yourself?
Call us now.
We begin with the press review, starting with The Voice. NPP says UDP blew Barrow's comments out of context. Alleged PRU shooter says exposure of his nude videos compelled him to flee to Senegal. Ignore false informers in diaspora, says Dr. Cisse. Barrow renews calls on compatriots to prioritize peace for national development. NGBV's 16 days of activism caravan kicks off in Chairman Nyanija, and ex-wife testifies in husband's trial. Next, a look at Foroya's front page. Farmers Union demands investigation into intercepted Senegalese truck carrying fertilizer. World Bank approves $47.7 million to improve Gambia's public sector. Teachers resume work after government disburses November salary. Parliament recommends deduction of over $25 million from budget of President's office. UTG students leader says reinstatement of staff not under the union's mandate, and Fonyi farmers appeal for support. The Point carries these headlines. Bar urges councils to provide allowances for imams. UNFPA strategic dialogue attracts young parliamentarians globally. Youth participation in politics is a necessity and urgent obligation, claims Deputy Speaker. Police officer advised me not to go out in public, alleged PIU shooter says. Government validates policy to protect child and vulnerable groups online. World Bank approves $47.7 million to improve Gambia's public sector, and Senegal's National Assembly elects new speaker. Finally, the Standard's front page. Minister warns Gambia close to debt distress. Melville wins case against Gambia at ECOWAS court. NPP says President Barrow is a proud Mandinka. World Bank approves $47.7 million for Gambia. Strike at UTG ends and classes resume today. National Assembly members approve $45 million for 2025 presidential tour. Ibn Chambers due here for consultations over draft constitution. And that was your look at the front pages of today's papers. We thank the editors and reporters of Foroya, The Voice, The Point, and The Standard.
Hello. If I own a business account with Trust Bank, how can I pay salaries to my employees to other banks?
Kindly send us an instruction through your corporate officer, that's your relationship manager. Send the instruction through a hard copy, and we will kindly process for you. It is easy, it is simple. We will need few information from you. Each customer's name, the BBAN, and the bank it needs to be sent to. The BBAN should be complete and it should be in 18 digits. Please kindly forward this, and then it will be processed the same day, and all the funds will be credited in other banks as well. Thank you.
Looking for an establishment where value for money and unrivaled services with admirable turnaround time is guaranteed? The Port of Banjul is the perfect place for you. A vital gateway for trade offering connections to numerous global destinations. With improved infrastructure combined with a flexible tariff, the Port of Banjul remains a vital node in maritime trade. Along with its dedicated workforce, efficient service delivery, technology-inspired innovation, and an impressive record in handling all type of cargo. The Port of Banjul is also widely acknowledged as one of the safest ports on the continent with no history of piracy. As a major player in the region's maritime trade, accounting for 90% of all imports and exports, we are more than just a transit point, but a vital cog in the global trade sphere. Come experience a hassle-free fast customs clearance inspired by our simplified trade documentation procedures, safe and efficient cargo and vessel handling. The Port of Banjul offers prompt, reliable and value-for-money service, and customer satisfaction is guaranteed.
There's a lot of talk about Taft's political ambitions. Yes, he's been very successful. Yes, he's got a lot of money, but Taft Doyle would better. Taft wants to run that country. Does Taft have, any ambitions to be president of the Gambia?
First, let's start about the issue about Doyle, that Doyle would maintain. And I will tell you, I'm very contented. I'm a contented person. That's why I have a simple life. I sleep very well, because I'm very contented with what I have. Again, putting this record straight, Taft Peter, you know that I'm not a shareholder in Taft Africa Global. Very few people will know, and I want to let this out.
What are you then?
I am a CEO. I am a managing director. 15 years ago, I divested my shares to my kids. 15 years ago, for the simple reason that I don't own my life. What will happen if you have success, like what I do, with all these things spread all over the place? Inheritance, most of the time, will be a problem. So I went to my lawyers and told them that, look, please, I want to now divest this. So I am not a shareholder. Go to the records, it's registered. I don't own one single share in Taft Africa Global. Because naturally, I can drop dead anytime. That's the reality. And then when it happens, the reason why you have these problems is if it's not planned properly. So that happens. So I am not a shareholder. Just to show that, look, I'm very contented and I'm very happy with myself. You see the t-shirts I wear now? Yeah, well, most of the share times you see me wearing them. I have dozens of them because it's so comfortable. So what else? But anyway, moving on about politics and so on. I mean, I have stated this over and over and over again, and in this platform, that I am not interested in participating as a player. But politics is part of our life. A team, you support Liverpool.
Yes.
You have it at heart. Are you at the field playing?
No.
Yes, but here you are cheering them up, doing everything. Now, in a team, and actually the country is a team. We all have roles to play in this team. So we cannot keep away from them. Today, every political party, and I've told you this before, every single political party in this country comes to people like us for financing. So they'll come and take our money to go and campaign, do whatever they are doing.
So you give to every political party that comes to you. You give to NPP, you give to UDP.
Everybody. Okay. I don't deny these things. I'm not hiding it. I don't hide it.
People say that's hedging your bets.
I don't. I am not interested. Because for me, Peter, 85% of Taft Africa Global's business is not even in this Gambia. So I don't honestly need to be around. I just love my country. I want to stay. That's what I prefer. So if it's only about hedging bets, I will hedge it outside. And there they don't know who I am. All they will see is material value. But anyway, going now to your question about politics, I am not interested. I have said it over and over and over and again. And those who are in politics are the players themselves. So let's take it to be football. Yeah. In football, you have how many? 11 players. Yeah. Then you have reserve who are sitting on the bench. They're all part of the team. But there are people outside who will clap for them, who will comment, I am part of those. That I have a role to play with my wisdom, with my age. I talk to them. I talk to the executive. When I want to see the president who is Barrow today, I look for an appointment and go and see him. I'm not hiding it. If I want to see Hussein Dabo as the leader of the opposition, I call him up, go and see him.
So you've been seeing them separately?
All of them. Khalifa Salah. Look, and I will want to really say this out here. I mean, we all at our level should see this country at heart. That there's one thing that we have, it's the Gambia. The country is polarized by politics. That should stop. Let's take, for example, the current issue about the constitution. It is a shame that a country like the Gambia, with everything that we went through with Jammeh for 22 good years, now has an opportunity in 2016. We cannot, for 4 good years, come together, forget about our differences, and see this country to have a constitution. This is not right. And our political leaders who are there, actually, all of them are all looking at their own party interest. within the constitution. And they must learn from what is happening in the world today. There's nothing permanent in life. Everything that starts has a beginning. This issue about, perpetuating, I find this word. Perpetuating oneself is not sustainable. So one must look at generations to come. They owe it to the next generations to provide, to agree on a constitution that will serve all. And remember, and we've seen it before, a very good example is here in Senegal today. 7 months ago, the leadership of the Senegalese government was completely different. We saw some guys who sat there and saying, you went to elections now 7 months after, out of 135 seats, you only got 16. No, more than that, 160 something. Yeah. You only got 16. So really, they should understand that there's life after all this. And this applies to both sides. Whether you are in the aisle of government or in the opposition, or people like us out there in the public, we all need to see this country understanding that if we don't pass this constitution, we're almost doomed.
Oh, so we
need to move on.
You are for this constitution being passed?
We need to find a way. Look, in everything that you do, when you negotiate, let's take, for example, the worst place now is the Middle East. Is there not a ceasefire between Lebanon and the Israelis?
Which is already being violated.
Yeah, it will happen. But at least there are efforts to have it done. We must meet somewhere. This country is very small. 2.5 million people. Beautiful country. Anybody who comes into this country love it. So why is it that it is taking us like 4 years? I mean, a lot of money was spent in building up the constitution for 2020.
No, it's more than 4 years.
Yes.
I mean, the constitution
review
was set up in 2018.
That's right.
I mean, it's what, 6 years now?
Yeah. So really, a constitution is the supreme law of a country. And so let them forget about the presence today and themselves. And you know what is very interesting, Peter, and we know this, and we've seen it. Today, they are on one side. Very soon, they can be on the other side of it.
Absolutely.
So whatever interest you think you are protecting because you are in the ruling side or you are in the opposition can change within a flick of a second. So again, through this medium, I beg, I'm on my knees, on those, actually it's in the National Assembly now, that let them forget about their differences and see the Gambia. That whatever we are doing, there are generations. You know, Peter, when I walk on the street, when I drive from here to Brufut, from Brufut to Gunjur, I ask myself every question, ask my staff, the number of kids that you see. For example, there's a school by Brufut, it does two shifts. In the morning, loads of kids. In the evening, the same thing. I ask myself, what's the future of these kids here?
Yeah.
Let them think about these kids, this next generation that's going to come, and even generations unborn. In the country today, I looked at the MOPSI website. In the MOPSI website, there's on an average over 100,000 kids that pour out of our middle and lower and senior basic school. Over 100,000. Where are these kids going? The university today enrolls 7,500 kids. 7,500 divided by 4 years for a course. Close to 200, is it? 2,000 are graduating from the university. Where will they go? So this should be their preoccupation. And I will beg honestly that, again, I think there is a need for elderly statesmanship in this country. Na mag ñu jóg. At every level, the level of religion, the pastors, the bishops, the imams, let them go and see our political leaders and appeal to them that let them sit down and see the Gambia first. What is happening has got very serious negative impact in this country in the next years to come. We need to move on. So honestly, because you talk about politics, these are the things that, look, I cannot hide. I mean, I've had very sleepless nights. that why should we? Other countries have moved on. Look, Nigeria, for example. Nigeria, they have passed their constitution a long time ago. The issue of more than 2 terms is history. It will never happen in Nigeria again, at every level. Sierra Leone, même chose. You know, in Senegal, Macky tried to change it, but what happened? He's gone. So please, 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 I think we need to appeal to our political leaders, be it at the executive, at the legislature. that let them forget their differences and please see the Gambia first, because it has serious implications in the lives of not only the present generation, but generations unborn.
Alhaji Barrow is still yet to come, and adverts are important on this program, so we'll take another commercial break, and when we come back, Alhaji Taf will wrap up. It's Coffee Time with Peter Gomez.
Did you know service plots are now available at Baki? Welcome to Baki, Taft City's 4th residential estate.
Yes, service plots available at Baki with 3 years interest-free payment plan with a minimum deposit of only $94,000, and it will come with fence plot, water reticulation, electricity, solar street lights, and bituminized internal roads. Are you ready to build your dream home for yourself?
Call us now.
Welcome back. We have only 10 minutes remaining, but stick around for Alhaji Barrow's thoughts on the Constitution. But we have more messages coming in for Taf. Sir Peter, I'm a keen listener of the Coffee Time program. Honestly, I enjoyed Mr. Njie's session today, especially where he mentioned the advice he got to include a Christian in his group, and I hope that all successful businessmen are backed by these people in this faith. In addition, the 2-term limit is very important. Thank you. And this is coming from Joe Mendy. It's very sad, but increasingly Christians are feeling, marginalized in this country. And yeah, the Gambia that you and I, were born in, is hardly recognizable, compared to the Gambia we now live in.
Again, if you were born in Banjul, a real Wa Afdai, you will know that.
Which we both are.
We are all Wa Afdai. And that's where we lived. We never saw those differences. Actually, let me tell you something again about Christians and the relationship. I remember during Eid, Remijoida's father and some other Christian guys, I don't know how come that there's only those there that will wear uniform to come and police, because most of the policemen, at that level
would be Muslims.
Were Muslims.
Yes.
So they will come. I always remember that Remy Joyner's father will be as the inspector to come and organize the police. Some people are only uniform on fists that were Muslim. So they had this very amicable relationship.
Yeah.
Another one is, the Ogu family. The Ogus, they were 2 of them, brothers, and they were very close to my father. And we thought we were really family members. And during Eid, Tobaski, Bobby Harvey, the head, and we always take to the Ogus, Papa Ogulinkuna. So they were very nice relationship we had in Gambia. And I hope this thing continues.
Yeah. Good morning, Uncle Peter and Taf. History is past, present, and future. Always thrilled when folks like you talk about once upon a time Gambia, as most of our successes rest on the shoulders of great patriotic elders. With all our problems, the stories must be told to the young, especially in these days of social media and politricks. This is from Sol Mbenga.
Sol Mbenga, okay.
Yes.
No, he's right. Peter, let me just quickly tell you, for example, I have a chair. TAF Africa Global is well structured as far as corporate structure. And we're registered in Dubai. So the main company, it's registered in the free zone of Dubai, and then we have the different companies. When I came to choose a chairman, because you have to have a corporate structure, I deliberately looked for a Mandinka.
Why?
Because I just wanted to practice.
And this is a person who was my classmate, by the way.
Yes. So, I was looking at
Dr. Karamo Sonko.
Dr. Karamo Sonko, his pedigree, his intelligence, his experience. I was looking for somebody with a profile that if I fit him there, because we are going global, people will respect him. But from the local side, if I took one Ibrahim Njie or Keba Njie or, something joke, from the way we are now, it can be said, boys Banjuli. So and we do somebody. Wow. But but we must practice this. We must balance this. Like in Nigeria, it happens. In Nigeria, from the different geographical zones, there are certain positions, or when forming government, you have to bring them in. So we should really do this in practice, understand that we are all the same. And again, shout out to my chair, Karamo Sonko. Everything I do, I throw it to him and I listen to him because he's my chair.
Okay.
That's right, yeah.
That's what I told you. Tough. We're heading to 2026. And, you interact a lot with young people. We have seen what young people have done in Senegal. And you and I might sit here and think that, oh no, whatever we tell these young people to do, they will do. Because there was a time in Senegal, the syringe determined how people voted. But this time round, the youth resisted it. They still believe in them, they listen to them. But when it came to deciding the fate of the country, they chose what to do and stuck to their choices. We're heading into 2026. You interact a lot. They don't call you the youth man for nothing.
Yeah.
Young people listen to you. What's your advice to them?
I interact a lot with the young people, but I also interact a lot with the elderly. So those who are now in government, those who are in traditional politics, should realize that times have changed. In the past, if you campaign, what you have to physically go to a certain constituency and campaign. But today, no. Through your phone, you can just post, a post on TikTok, and millions will see it. So times have changed. There are tools that are available that you can reach people now, and that is why it has been effective. Effective change happened in Senegal. Now, first, to the elderly, those who are in this position, be it in the opposition or in the ruling government, they should realize that the best of leader is somebody who has good succession plan, because anything that starts must come to an end. They should understand this. So be it in the opposition or in the ruling party, they should work on good succession planning. When, how, that's up to them. It's a reality. And if you again go back into history in this country, if you remember in the First Republic, when the first president of this country went to Mansa Konko and wanted to step down, what happened? A lot of people, some people who are, no, you shouldn't, they started crying, whatever. Finally, you see the way he exited. Take the opposite in Senegal. When President Senghor realized that, look, there's the need for good succession plan. Actually, on TikTok, it's there now. He went to Serigne Fallou. I remember that his words were, "Nguur ken du ko ñiit." You can find it online now. The best of leader, that's what you do. Another very good example is Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison, went through everything. He came out, he was voted popularly as the president. He only ran for one term, and he left. That's a brilliant example. He is the most celebrated black person in the world today. Yes. So leaders should think about leaving a legacy. It's not about at the time that you are sitting there and what people tell you. All those praise singers, the moment you move out, they are different. For the young people, they have the cards in their hands. They vote for themselves. Currently, you cannot go, for example, to a petrol station and have two pumps, one that says that one is for this party, the other for this party. When the hardships hit a country, everybody suffers. The price of a bag of rice is the same for every citizen. So let's think about the future. Let's vote wisely. Let them think about those that will add value. You see, government is about governance. Governance is about fulfilling your functions. There are responsibilities that a government should have. So forget about, he is this, that, or the other. Let's look at the best of government that will deliver its functions. Very quickly, for this country, I think there is an absolute need, forever it has been, that we should have a think tank. This country, Peter, the best of brains and knowledge is sitting outside of this country. We need to find a way of involving these people to add value and uplift this country. So again, for the young ones, that was your question about 2026. I am not saying that let them behave like, Pastef or whatever. But please, they're educated. Let them listen to somebody that will lead them to a better future.
Alhaji Taf, it's like we started only 2 minutes ago.
We have about 2 minutes to go now.
Can you believe it's 10 o'clock? Anything you might want to add to what you just said as a way of, closing our conversation? And then
closing, maybe I jumped the ship on, and this is really in my heart. I want to appeal to the powers that are, that let them look at the best of knowledge of Gambians. let people be put in position based on merit. The issue of political patronage and tribal patronage, religious patronage, it doesn't take any country anywhere.
You think that is what is happening right now?
They said we started with not only in every government it was there. To a certain slightly different, in the First Republic it was there, but not very pronounced as it is. In the Jammeh regime, also second, we saw it. And now it's continuing. I mean, that needs to change. Let's look at the countries that succeed in this world. Let's first start with Singapore. Why did Singapore succeed? They went for the best. They had a vision. Every country should have a vision. A country should have good policies. A country should implement these policies rightfully for the benefits of its people. Let's look at Dubai. Why is Dubai what it is today? It's because great vision, great minds. Very close to us, Rwanda. Look at Rwanda. Today, everybody wants to go to Rwanda. In 1994, there was a genocide. And they started from nothing. Today, they are where they are. So I want to appeal that as Gambians again, we should all try to, embrace our political affiliation. Everybody belongs to somewhere, and that's our civic right. All of us, when we go into that ballot box, we cast a vote.
Absolutely.
So this is why neutrality doesn't exist.
We are partisan.
Yeah, we are partisan.
Yes.
So again, we all belong to a religion. We all belong to a tribe. We all belong to our families. But there's one thing that we share in common. That's we are Gambians.
Absolutely.
And if Gambia doesn't progress, all of us will fail.
Absolutely.
So I want to appeal to every Gambian. Again, focusing on the Constitution. Let's find a way of fighting or doing whatever, but I think before 2026, we should come out with a constitution.
Alhaji Taf, thank you so very much. And on that constitutional note, let's bring in Alhaji Barrow.
The argument that we should support the NPP-APRC authoritarian treaty being forced on the people as a draft constitution because it is supposedly better than the 1997 Yahya Jammeh constitution is nothing short of acquiescing to an impending authoritarian state. That the foreigner who helped the NPP-APRC draft their authoritarian treaty cleverly edits Yahya Jammeh's blatant abuse of the people's rights does not mask the fact that it turns Adama Barrow into a fashionable authoritarian. If the objective was to divorce ourselves from Jammeh's abusive 1997 constitution, then settling for the APRC NPP's draft is akin to jumping from the frying pan into the fire. And that is because all that Adama Barrow's foreign drafter did is to find more sophisticated ways to make him as powerful as Yahya Jammeh at the expense of the Gambian people. Those of you asking Gambians to give the Barrow draft a chance should have asked the NPP-APRC to give the 2020 draft constitution a chance. But hypocrisy can be blinding at times. What advocates for the APRC-NPP draft neglect is that it is not significantly different from the lying 1997 Yahya Jammeh constitution. Yahya Jammeh's constitution is crude and unabashed in its abuse of Gambians, while Adama Barrow's draft tried to be cute and sophisticated in its pretentiousness, power grab, and greed. If constitutions are really for and about the people, why must anyone insist on anything that benefits them as an individual? The truth is, this APRC-NPP draft authoritarian treaty is about legitimizing self-perpetuation, strengthening the APRC-NPP's chokehold on the people, and accumulating wealth. If I had any sway over any of our Prado parliamentarians, I would have asked them to reject the APRC-NPP draft and stick to the Yahya Jammeh constitution because it gives Adama Barrow what he wants: unchecked powers and unlimited control. Sanitizing the Yahya Jammeh constitution a little bit so that Barrow can say he delivered what he promised will not help usher us into the new Gambia we've been dreaming of. We have seen this movie before. It is the same movie Yahya Jammeh, his lawyers, and his APRC featured in way back in 1995. It is the same movie today. They only changed a few characters. Surrendering ourselves to helplessness will not mean the APRC-NPP will loosen the metaphorical headlock they have Gambians in. like Yahya Jammeh, who bastardized his constitution over 50 times, the APRC NPP will do exactly the same. You give them a yard today, they will take a mile tomorrow, just as Jammeh did. This Barrow authoritarian treaty is not about all for the people. It is about power and wealth for Adama Barrow and privilege and wealth for those surrounding him. That is why they will say anything to defend it. It is their meal ticket. The question Gambians should be asking is whether they are prepared to be ruled by Adama Barrow and his mandarins for another 20 years. They will tell you that their authoritarian treaty will only give Barrow 2 more terms, and after those 2 terms, Barrow will keep his promise and gracefully bow out. But their history will not be on their side. These are the same people who betrayed the victims by embracing the architects of the Jammeh tyranny. They are the same people who are supposedly engaged in some wayward transitional justice where linchpins of the Jammeh tyranny come to deliver speeches. Anyone who thinks the APRC NPP will not go on to seek more amendments to strengthen their chokehold on Gambians will only be fooling themselves. Importantly, Barrow and his friends have Yahya Jammeh's men in Sidinjai and Tombonjata to do their bidding in Parliament. And as we have already seen, for the right price, one can easily buy most of our Prado parliamentarians. To buttress my point, let me quote Ismail Assise, who said of Adama Barrow, and I quote, "He reneged on his 3-year promise, failed to deliver promised reforms, and ditched the draft constitution. Adama Barrow will not deliver a free, fair, and peaceful election. He will rig it. Pseudo-democracy must not be entertained." End quote. I completely agree with Ismail Assise that pseudo-democracy must not be entertained. And this authoritarian treaty they are manipulating the people into buying represents nothing but a pseudo-democracy. Sadly, everyone it benefits, everyone who stands to gain something, will say anything to defend this constitution today, even if they thought the draft constitution of 2020 that Barrow rejected was a better one. Oh, but how people change once they start eating. For me, I pray that Allah continues to keep me far away from this table. I would rather die of hunger and poverty than sell what little integrity I have.
That's Alhaji Barrow. He never pulls a punch, does he? And with his thoughts on the 2024 draft constitution, we come to the end of the program. My thanks to my guest today, Alhaji Mustapha Njie, a.k.a. Tough. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow at 8 o'clock.